I am Dr. Tejashree Dhakre, Assistant Professor of Organ of Medicine in Motiwala Homeopathic Medical College. Let's study the fundamental laws according to Dr. H.A. Roberts. Okay. First, what is objectives of study this chapter? First primary objective is to study the scientificity of our pathy, means to substantiate our claim that homeopathy is based on the natural laws. Second objective, if homeopathy is founded upon the fundamental laws, what are those laws? And last objective is how to implement these laws in our daily day-to-day homeopathic practice. In the Roberts philosophy, The Principles and Art of Cure by Homeopathy by Dr. H.A. Roberts, there is a chapter number 6, that is Homeopathy and Fundamental Laws. Okay. While watching this lecture, please open your Roberts philosophy and underline the important sentences and points. Okay, fundamental laws. So there are let's study this all 11 fundamental laws. First is law of cure, that is similia similibus curantur, and also we are going to study the Hering's law of direction of cure. Next, second is law of action, that is Newton's law of mutual action. Third is law of quantity and dose. Fourth is law of quantity. Law of quantity is also called as law of least action. Next is law of quality. Next, law of use. Next, law of biological development. Next is law of disease development. Next is law of proving. Next is law of repetition in a drug proving. And next is law of repetition during the treatment or during the cure, how we repeat our medicines. Okay. Next is the fundamental laws. Okay. What is the word meaning of fundamental? Okay. Fundamental means the laws which are true, active, fixed, scientific, universally accepted, natural, working laws and rational laws. Okay. Means the fundamental laws which are accepted by universe, by every science, and they are acted all the time. Okay. Next is, what is law? Law means what? The word meaning of law is the set of rules established in a community. Okay. Law means set of rules established in a community. Okay. Let's see the Roberts view on the fundamental laws. Okay. It is self-evident that natural law must work not in contradiction to each other but in a sympathy and cooperation. These laws are fixed and immutable. Immutable means what? Inexhaustible laws. Okay. Immutable means inexhaustible laws. Okay. Means if all the natural laws are working cooperatively, that's why our universe is in harmony. Okay. For to explain this sentence, Dr. Robert explained about our planetarium. Okay. Means means every planet has its own natural laws. Okay. For example, Earth, we have a gravitational force. So the gravitational force is depend upon the law of gravitation, which is explained, which is invented by the Newton. Okay, Newton's law of gravitation. So Earth has many laws, many natural laws. Likewise, the Jupiter, Uranium, Saturn also has its own laws. So every planet has its natural laws. That's why they are revolving in its orbit. and also they have effect on the other planets. Okay, that and they are working cooperatively in the universe. Okay, that's why our universe is in a harmony. Even in a chapter of simple substance, Dr. Kent has described about the principle and harmony. Means uh, for the harmony, the principle sorry the principle is a prior to the harmony. Means to set the universe in a harmony, there should be fixed principles. Okay. Uh, First, I read the example that which sets the planet in its orbit so regulates the other planets that they obey the same law. The difference lies not in governing the laws but in a time, distance, and circumstance, which again rule by the law. If the planets moved at a random, lawlessly, the result would be chaos, means the confusing result. Okay, there may be chaos in the universe if the planets are not working in with the natural laws. Next, if homeopathy is a fundamental science or a part of a fundamental science as we believe, it must work in a harmony with all the natural realms, and the laws which apply to those realms must apply also in some degree and relationship to the homeopathy. Underline this sentence. So too, if one realm of the universe was moved by the fundamental laws, which had no application or in relation to the other realms of the universe, the results must be chaos. Realm means what? The area. Okay. If I am not working in my area with harmony, with the fixed principle, then other the surrounding people also not working in with a law, and there may be chaos. Means everyone should be work with a fixed principle, and that so that there may be harmony in the universe. Okay. Next, every every science has certain basic guiding principles. Homeopathy as a science or a medical treatment has a philosophy of its own, and it's a therapeutics uh, is based on a certain fundamental principles which are quite distinct and different from other pathies. Okay, so let's study our first law, that is law of cure. Okay, what is law of cure? Law of cure is similia similibus curantur, means like cure likes. Okay, means we are giving the medicine which is having similar action. Okay, means uh, means our medicine has a similar symptom with that of a natural disease symptoms. Okay, we compare the symptom similarity of our disease and medicine, then we give the simillimum medicine to our patient. Okay, why the similia similibus curantur is a fundamental law? First question is that. Okay, तो आई विल गिव वन एग्जाम्पल. एक हिंदी में कहानी है. ओके, द स्टोरी ऑफ लॉर्ड बुद्धा एंड अ लेडी. ओके, वन डे अ लेडी केम टू लॉर्ड बुद्धा विथ हर सन्स डेड बॉडी, और उसने लॉर्ड बुद्धा से कहा कि यू आर द ग्रेट सेंट ऑफ दिस वर्ल्ड, सो प्लीज़ प्लीज़ जो मेरा तो प्लीज़ मेरे बेटे को ज़िंदा कर दो जो मर गया है. ओके, तो उसका सन बिकॉज ऑफ स्नेक बाइट की वजह से उसकी सन की डेथ हुई थी. दैट तो लॉर्ड बुद्धा आस्क हु आर यू, सो शी इंट्रोड्यूस्ड हर Then next, Lord Buddha asked about her family members. Then she was having the three kids, and this is the youngest kid. And this was the youngest kid. Okay. तो लॉर्ड बुद्धा ने बोला कि हाँ मैं इसको ज़िंदा करूँगा, लेकिन तुम्हें एक टास्क करना पड़ेगा। तो लॉर्ड बुद्धा ने उसको बोला, ऐसे घर से एक चावल का दाना लाओ, चावल का दाना लाओ जिस घर में कोई भी दुख नहीं है या कोई भी मरा हुआ नहीं है। ओके। तो वो लेडी हर एक घर में गई। हर एक घर में जाने के बाद हर कोई बोल रहा था मेरा बेटा मर गया है, मेरा पति मर गया है, किसी के माँ बाप मर गए। तो एवरीवन हैड सम ग्रीफ। ओके। हर एक के घर में किसी की डेथ हो चुकी है या फिर कोई तो मर गया है। ओके। तो उसके बाद उसे समझा कि मुझे तो और दो बच्चे हैं, लेकिन कुछ लोगों के पास तो कोई भी सहारा नहीं है, वो अकेले रह रहे हैं, उनका दुख तो मुझसे भी ज़्यादा है। तो उसे कोई भी ऐसा घर उस गांव में नहीं मिला कि जहाँ पे उसे ग्रीफ नहीं, जहाँ पे किसी को ग्रीफ नहीं है या जहाँ पे किसी की मौत नहीं हुई है। ओके। देन तो वो लेडी वापस बुद्धा के पास कभी नहीं गई, वो अपने घर पे चली गई। ओके। तो what is moral of story? Moral of story is law of similia, that is similia similibus curanter. Means what happened here, the weaker dynamic affection is permanently extinguished by the stronger one. Okay. मतलब वो लेडी को अपना खुद का दुख क्या लगा, वीकर लगा, और दूसरों का दुख क्या लगा, स्ट्रॉन्गर, इसलिए उसका दुख चला गया और वो वापस चली गई। तो मीन्स इन आवर डे टू डे प्रैक्टिस दिस वी आर फॉलोइंग दिस लॉ ऑफ सिमिलिया। Okay, means law of similia is applicable in every realm of our life, understand? Okay. That's why this is called as fundamental law. Next is, what is the history of law of similia? Okay, so Dr. Roberts has given the history of law of similia. Let's see what is the history of law of similia. This recognition of law underlying cure is of an ancient origin. No one knows when the first recognition of this law crept in a use. Okay, but ancient Hindu manuscripts recorded its application. Certainly, Aristotle recognized it, and Hippocrates sensed the possibilities of this law and applied in some recorded cases. From time to time, all through the medical history, this hypothesis was enunciated or demonstrated in a greater or a less degree. Hahnemann later demonstrated this law to be universal and not an occasional circumstance. So, Dr. Hahnemann was the first person who had applied this law as a branch of a therapeutic system of medicine. Okay. To explain the similia similibus curanter, in last year we have studied in aphorism number 44 what happens when two similar diseases meet together in the body. Okay, in aphorism 44 of 6th edition of Organon of Medicine, Dr. Hahnemann has explained, when two similar diseases meet together in the body, they neither repel nor suspend nor form a complex disease. Instead of that, the stronger disease annihilate the weaker one permanently, which is this next reaction is explained in what? In aphorism number 45. Okay. Even in aphorism number 26, that is, a weaker dynamic affection is permanently extinguished by the stronger one. Okay, well differ in a kind, but they both are in a same in a manifestation. This is the nature's law of cure. Under the aphorism number 26, Dr. Hahnemann has given many examples to explain this nature's law of cure. Okay, that is These examples are based on the physical aspect, moral aspect, and disease aspect. Okay, you can write that examples also while explaining the law of cure. Okay. Next, after studying the similia similibus curantur, okay, next is our Hering's law of cure. Okay, here Dr. Robert has explained the Hering's law of direction of cure under the law of cure itself. Okay, um, the cure takes place from above downward, within outward, from more important to less important organ, and symptom appear in a reverse order of their appearance. Okay, this is our direction of cure. Okay, means the cure takes place from above downward, means symptoms goes from the above location to the downward location, then from within outward. Okay, means for example we take from joints to the skin. Next, from more important to less important organ, means the organ, for example liver is a more important organ, and skin is a less important organ. Okay, so symptoms go from liver to skin, that is from more important to less important organ. Next is, and the symptom appear in a reverse order of their appearance, means the symptom which is last to appear is first to disappear. Okay, मतलब जो recent symptom है that will go first, and the old symptoms then they reappear. Old symptoms reappear. This is the 11th observation of Dr. Kent. Okay, even in a Kent philosophy, under the chapter prognosis, Dr. Kent has explained about the Hering's law of direction of cure and its importance. We already had studied the Hering's law of direction of cure in last year while studying the life history of Dr. Hering. Next is law of action, law of mutual action. Okay, the action and reaction are equal and opposite. Okay, for example, if I throw the ball on that wall, the ball may bounce back to me or may fall down if my pressure, if my force is less. Okay, तो हर एक एक्शन के लिए क्या है, इक्वल एंड अपोजिट रिएक्शन है. ओके, हाउ वी कैन इम्प्लीमेंट दिस इन अवर डेली होम्योपैथिक प्रैक्टिस. ओके, लॉ ऑफ म्यूचुअल एक्शन. ओके, फॉर दिस from aphorism number 62 to 68, we have studied about the action of our homeopathic medicine. Okay, there is a primary action and next is secondary action. Secondary action is again of two types, that is secondary curative action and secondary counter action. कितने मिनट हैं? 20. Okay. The action of medicine. Two types of action: primary action and secondary action. Okay. In a primary action, this is the action of medicine upon the vital force. Okay, vital force remains passive while the primary action is going on. Okay, here the homeopathic aggravation happens. Next is a secondary action. Secondary action is again of two types, that is secondary curative action and secondary counteraction. In a secondary action, the vital force becomes active. Okay, and if we have given the similimum medicine, the secondary curative action and secondary counteraction happens in an antibiotic mode of treatment. Okay, we have already studied the action of medicine. Okay, next, in the homeopathic treatment, we give most similar medicine to the patient, which produces similar and a stronger artificial disease in a patient. The body reacts to this artificial disease and ultimately gets free of a natural disease. Means our natural disease is a weaker, and the artificial disease of homeopathic medicine is a stronger. That's why the artificial stronger disease annihilate our weaker natural disease permanently, and the cure takes place. Understand everyone? Okay. Next is law of quantity. Okay, law of quantity is also called as law of least action. Okay, law of least action. This law is formulated by Maupertuis. Okay, who? Maupertuis. Law of quantity or law of least action is formulated by the Maupertuis. Maupertuis was the French mathematician. Okay, the quantity of drug required is in an inverse ratio to the similarity. Okay, the greatest the similarity of the drug to those of the patient, the less quantity will be required, because the susceptibility of a patient be high. Okay, the quantity of action necessary to effect any change in nature is the least possible, and the decisive amount is always minimum and infinitable. Okay, health is a matter of a perfect equilibrium, perfect balance. Trifling circumstances may sway, and even as a seemingly trifling circumstances, health is a matter of perfect equilibrium and perfect balance. The trifling circumstances may sway, and even as seemingly trifling circumstances may sway, so may it be balanced by least possible in a medication, which may in condition of perfect health cause the same loss of balance or corresponds to the loss of equilibrium. Okay. Okay, so what is the law of least action? Okay, law of least action, the quantity of action necessary to effect any change in a nature is a least possible. Okay, means quantity which is required in homeopathic medicine, it should be less. Means here law of minimum. In cardinal principle we have already studied about the law of minimum. Okay, law of minimum means the substance of medicine which we are using, it should be in a less in quantity. Less in quantity means less in a crude form. For this we are doing the dynamization of medicine. After dynamizing means after the potentization and succussion, our medicinal quantity becomes less. Understand everyone? Okay. The quantity of drug required is always in a inverse ratio of its similarity. means more the similimum medicine, then the quantity should be less. Means there should if there is more similarity, then please give the higher potencies. Okay, less similarity of the medicine and disease, then please give the lower potency. Understand everyone? Okay, our quantity of medicine means the posology. In the posology we have studied the factors, okay, on which the doses are dependent. The susceptibility is the most important factor for this. Okay, means we if the susceptibility high, then give the higher potency. If the low susceptibility, then give the lower potency. Okay, let's see what is the Robert's view on it. Okay. Okay, law of quantity to be considered here. Okay, after the law of quality and dose. Okay, after the law of least action, what is law of quantity? The quantity of the drug required in a inverse ratio of similarity, and in other words, greater the similarity of drugs to those of the patient, the less quantity will be required, for greater will be the susceptibility of patient. Okay, so law of least action and law of or a law of quantity and dose is what? The quantity of action necessary to effect any change in nature is a least possible. Okay, means the decisive amount is always minimum or infinitesimal. And what is the law of quantity? Law of quantity is the quantity of drug